Try to brush my hair a little bit. Please get a good angle.
Hey, Dwyane, welcome back.
Thank you.
This season, there seems to be sort of differing thoughts on whether this is a farewell tour or not, or just the 16th season and sort of play it out as such. You were very emotional a week ago in your description of what the season will be, but you also know sometimes the NBA has little room for emotion. How are you sort of going to carry yourself through this season? Will it be different, or are you going to try to avoid making it different?
Great question, Ira. First of all, good morning to everybody. I've been up a while, so I had to make sure what time it is. Good morning to everybody. I don't know. I have no idea. I've never been in this situation before, so the answer I would give you could be right. It could be totally wrong. But that's definitely the plan. It's going to be a combination of it both, right? It's going to be a combination of savoring moments, enjoying moments, but it's also going to be a combination of trying to prepare and focus on the season and each game and your matchups and all these different things. So it's definitely going to be something I can tell you more about when the season's over with, or how I was able to deal with it. But I really don't have no way to learn how to deal with this. But I knew I wanted to come out in the beginning of the year and just tell my fans and let everyone know that this is it. This is the last one, so we can get that out the way, and then we can move on. And hopefully that's what we can do.
Dio, right. First of all, welcome back. I was wondering how many drafts you went through for your 10-minute spiel, because you had to encapsulate like 16 years of a championship career. So how was the thought process behind that?
Well, appreciate the little joke you threw in there. I like little jokes. Well, for me, I just wanted to do it the way I wanted to do it, and I didn't want it to. Some players have done things where they've written to the Player Tribune, and it's all different kind of things that guys have done at different points. Since I wanted to come out and say at the beginning of the year, I wanted to speak to my fans, to speak to my family, and speak to my friends. And that's all I did. I didn't have a template. I didn't know what I was going there to talk about. I just got in front of the camera, and what came out. It was raw emotions at times. It wasn't a lot of it was a little editing here and there going on. I didn't want it to be fully edited and all real polished up. Like, we'll get to that part of it, but I wanted this to just be real and raw and let my fans, hear from me and feel the emotions that I felt and the decisions and things I've had to go through, this summer. This is a tough decision, for me. I've been playing basketball since I was 5 years old. I'm 36. This is definitely something that I've mastered from the standpoint of I probably ain't gonna be better at nothing more than I'm better at this. I get close, but I'm okay father too. Trying to be a better husband. But I've been a pretty good basketball player for a long time, even before people knew me. So, so those emotions came back in that moment. So that 10 minutes was actually nothing, y'all. I could have. My mom's a pastor. Y'all got to know the Wade family. We can go. So I cut it short because I knew it was getting lengthy. But I could have went for at least 30. Could have did a special by myself. No questions asked. Just kept going. So.
Dwayne, we saw you playing in the offseason, and all along you said, hey, look, I've got a lot to really think about, and it was clear until you made the decision you did. But I'm curious, when was the moment that after thinking about it, you said, okay, I'm doing this? Did you wake up one morning? Was it a moment you had a meeting with your family? How did that all come to be to say, okay, I am coming back?
Just a combination of the whole entire summer. I know what, people that's close to me, what their wants are. And then I looked at the situation. I think for me, it was ultimately it just came to me saying, I just want to have an opportunity just to give my fans an opportunity to say goodbye and give me an opportunity to say goodbye as well, a complete opportunity to do that. And, last year, even when this thought started creeping into my mind, it was so late in the process that I didn't even give myself a chance to really say goodbye, to this game. Because once it's over with, there ain't no coming back on this stage. I'd be a local hooper superstar, but outside of that, I'm not going to be on this level no more. So that's what it came down to. It was, I can think about all the things that can pull me not to come back, and I can think about the things that pull me to come back. But ultimately, It was a few people and a few things that really helped push me this way. And saying a real goodbye was definitely at the top of that. A promise kept. I don't know what UD's going to do after this year, but I know what I'm doing, and that's another promise that I wanted to keep to him that we made, to each other a long time ago, and other things as well.
Dwyane, welcome back. A lot of times through the broad spectrum of sports, players' retirement, the decisions are made for them. Teams cut them and their career's over.
Definitely.
How fortunate do you feel that you're ending this on your terms? Because doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that's something that I've talked about, I think when the season was over with. Me and my business manager sat down and talked about it, and I was really out of it at that point. I was like, yeah, it's over. I was about 90-10 at that point. It was over. But there was messages that kept coming back to me is that, you're fortunate enough to be in this situation where you can control, how it ends, bearing any injuries. And I think, even what Shaq said the other day, listening to some of the greats that played this game and not having the opportunity to go through, an opportunity like, this, that make me appreciate even more, that I have the ability to do it, this way or my way, in a sense. So I continue to say I'm going to be very uncomfortable with this whole thing. I'm going to be very uncomfortable with the farewell tour. It's not something that I wanted. I think people around me know I really, really, really didn't want this. So I just look at it and say this is me just saying goodbye, more so than anything. But I'm definitely going to be uncomfortable with it. But, like Shaq said, if he could have got an opportunity to do this, if other greats could have got an opportunity because of injury or because of, teams or trades, et cetera, you may not get this chance to have people, one last time pat you on the back and tell you how great you were. Not that you are, that you were. That's something that all players need, right? So here we go.
In the video at the end, you talked about, you asked fans basically to join you and write the ending together with you. Short of the parade down Biscayne Boulevard answer, what is the perfect ending for you this season? What do you want out of this year?
I don't know, Tim. I have no idea what I want out this year. So that's why I said let's write it together, however it's going to be. We're going to be able to figure this thing out, as the year go on. It's going to take on, life of its own. I like I said, I had no idea what I was going to say. The whole One Last Dance thing came out of nowhere. I don't even know how to dance. So, it really was just all off the cuff. But I really don't know. And as I was saying, you guys will hear more about it. To me, that is the beauty of it, is that I do not know and that we do not know, and it keeps people clicking on you guys' articles because they do not know what's going to happen or what's going to be said.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Listen, I'm for the community, I'm for. So, that's the beauty of it. And I cannot wait to see how it ends. And however this ends, it's just another chapter to that book that we've been talking about in my life. I hope it ends amazing. But you never know how each season is going to end. They all end differently, and you take your positives and pull some negatives out. But I don't think I'm going to pull no negatives out this year. I'm just going to pull all the positives out, and I'm going to ride off on that.
Dwyane, looking ahead to the season, obviously a lot of critics would look at this roster and say there's not a clear-cut all-star. What are the challenges to finding success in the league without a clear superstar in today's game?
Yeah, very challenging. I mean, how many you got in Golden State? 4? 5? I mean, you need to compete at that level. We talk about that level, that championship level, to be consistent throughout the season and win 55, 60, 65, those kind of games. You need that kind of talent. You need that kind of stature, on your team. And the goal is, when you got a young team like we have in the locker room with a lot of guys, is to build it to one day those guys are that. They are multiple all-stars, or they are looked at in that light. So that's the process that we're in as an organization, trying to get there. But at the same time, they want to be competitive, and it's like, no, we're not just coming in and saying, hey, we're gonna keep growing every year. No, they want to get to the playoffs. They want to win in the playoffs. They want to go further and further. So they push and get the most out of each individual in this locker room. So that's what we're gonna go through this year. Whoever's lining up, whoever coach decides to play, gonna try to get everything out of themselves, and maybe you pull some all-stars out of it. Last year Goran got an opportunity to be an all-star. Maybe you see other guys get that nod, or start getting to that confidence level where you start seeing that they can be on that all-star level. I mean, you got 17,000 all-stars in the Western Conference anyway, so somebody can emerge. Coach, give me a couple more minutes, I may get up in there. You never know. So, I think it's the time for these young guys. When you talk about Jay Rich, when you talk about Justice, when you talk about D. Jones, when you talk about all these young guys, they should be looking at that. Right now the Eastern Conference is open from that standpoint of it's a new wave coming into the Eastern Conference. They should be looking at their opportunity to get to that level. And it's not saying you're playing for yourself and saying, I want to be an all-star this year. If that's a goal of yours, you should write it down. But they should be thinking about being at that level. These guys have played competitive basketball now for a few years. They know where they need to go. They know what they need to do to get there.
Dwyane, looking back at going on 16 now years, is there anything you would change? And I know we get the numbers, Wade 316. Is there a verse going to be associated with that this year, or a motto?
Your first question is anything I would change. I'm sure it is. I'm sure we all would like to change a little something here and there. Mm-hmm. But I'm a firm believer in, this story is told the way it's told because the way it's been and the way it's happened. And it's been talked about through every athlete, it seems like, but, it was true. I was just a kid with a dream, right? Just like so many kids nowadays that have a dream. And my dream was to play in the NBA. And, my path and my route there was different than a lot of people, but I got there. And when I got there, I tried to make the best of it. I feel that, and as I said in the video, I feel like I've laid it out on the line and given everything that I've had to the game. And, I can walk away from this game being okay with that, because even when I got to superstar level, I still played like a guy that was, trying to prove something. That same kid that was trying to prove something, his whole life. And that's the way I always knew I wanted to play and I was going to play. And I'm shocked that I'm sitting here and we talking about 16 seasons. When I came in, I was like, if I get to 10, boy, that is lovely. I didn't think I would get there because I knew the way I played and what I was going to give to the game was going to be reckless. But, I've been able to be around for a while. And, some of that has to do with teammates that I play with that have taken some burdens off me. And the way I've taken care of my body, especially the last 4 years, that has allowed my career to continue. 316, number 3 in my 16th season. It's just a double entendre type vibe. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? On my Jay-Z flow right now.
Dwyane, what do you expect from yourself this season?
What do I expect from myself? I expect to come in and lead. I expect to come in and give everything that I have. Some nights is going to be better than other nights. I can guarantee that. But I expect to come out and enjoy the game. You guys have seen me play for, this entire time. And some years has been better than the rest, from where you want to talk about shooting percentages or having more blocks or having more this or having more that. But, I try to give whatever my body allows me to give and whatever my opportunity allows me to give. And that's what I would give this season.
You have business opportunities. Of course, you have opportunities in China, for example. Would you think about staying within basketball, maybe having some kind of a position with the Heat? Is that something that is possible in the future?
Well, when that opportunity presents itself, we get to that, But I definitely want to stay around the game of basketball. I think I've been very, very open about me, hopefully one day, being a part of ownership, being an ambassador. And all these things. So, but when it's time to talk about that on the other side, then I will. Right now is not the time for me to talk about it. I want to focus on playing basketball because I got a long life to live to be on that other side. But yes, I want to be around the game. I've been around this game, like I said, since I was 5 years old. I've loved it since I was 9. So I want to continue to be around it and continue to give whatever I've learned to the next generation. And hopefully the opportunity presents itself for me.
So as you just talked about that, you've had a lot of success as a businessman, as an entrepreneur as well too. Have you been able to instill that on some of the guys on this team, or even kind of throughout the league, in terms of them being businessmen and entrepreneur like yourself?
Yeah, I have. We've had a lot of guys in this league, especially the younger guys coming in. I think a lot of the younger guys, the new wave that's coming in now. When they was growing up, I was flash, like real flash. And so, a lot of guys, they reach out, we have conversations, they ask questions. I'm an open book for, any player in the league that wants to know anything about how I did it or why I did it or good or bad, and definitely for my teammates, 100%, I'm all about the next generation. I've been about it for a while because when I came in, I had guys on other teams and guys on my team that helped me, that gave me some nuggets that I may not have used in that moment, but eventually I went back to it. I can Eddie Jones of the world, the Lamar Odoms of the world, the Karan Butlers of the world. They was big for me, in my career. From the standpoint of just coming in, learning the NBA, and then I learned a different way with Shaquille O'Neal. I learned a different way, a superstar level, and how to be a superstar. By Shaq. And, I've had other players along the way. I talk about Baron Davis, Jason Kidd. A lot of guys that I played against was big and, like, on the basketball floor telling me things that I was a little nervous. Like Eric Snow, they'd be telling me stuff in the game, and I'm like, why are you telling me this? You know what I mean? But continue to push the game forward. And I found myself doing that to players, now that I play against.
Dwyane, you came up with the One Last Dance, and it's going to be emotional for a lot of people here to go through this season with you. As you think about, coming here as a rookie out of Marquette and babyface Dwyane Wade, is there a moment that stands out through all of this that you think about that says, wow, I can't believe I did that?
Everything. It's so hard to pick one moment out of this life that I've been able to live, from this game of basketball. I can't pick one moment. It's all been it's been amazing. It's been a blur for sure too. As I said in the video, the vets tell you when you come in, it's gonna go by fast, and you like, I'm just getting started. I got a long way to go, and then you sitting up here, right now, and you like, what happened? And even though it was some great moments involved in that, it went fast. But this whole journey, and I would talk about it more. You know what I mean? Like, you guys we got a lot of things planned. You guys will hear more from me. So I don't think it's time in the press conference to go that deep, into it. But it's all been amazing.
Dwyane, I'm curious about, asked Bill earlier about your role, and he said that's stuff you guys figure out from a basketball perspective. But do you want to start, or did you like that role last year, or how do your mindset into camp, how does it kind of come in from a role standpoint?
Well, from a role standpoint, I've always came into a season or a team willing to play whatever role is needed of me to play. So I haven't always been the number one option. I've been number one, been number two, I've been number three. I've been the clap guy on the bench. I've been it all over my career. So I've always played my role to the best of my ability, whatever was asked of me. You ask a player like myself, do he want to start? I mean, that's like asking, do you want breakfast in the morning? Of course, I'm hungry. I want breakfast in the morning. Of course, I would love to. But if it's not, in my role to do that, then I would play the best role that I'm capable of for a team. And that's the way that I've always approached basketball. That's what I was taught by, my coaches and my role models and leaders, in basketball. So, I don't I go into camp and I compete. I don't go into camp trying to worry about starting, or how many shots I'm going to shoot or how many opportunities. I just go into camp trying to compete, trying to make sure that not only am I getting better, my teammates is getting better. And we come out of camp better. And then from there, when coach decides who's going to play, who's going to start, that's all in his right. He's the head coach of this team, and everyone has to deal with that and figure out how to be your best self with whatever role coach decides that you should have. Because if you don't want that role, then you shouldn't be with that organization. You should go somewhere else and find a different role. So I'm okay with whatever role I have. Obviously, I want the most that my body and my game can give. But I don't control it.
Dwyane, in your decision to come back, what part of that process involved money, and is it demeaning or disappointing to you that you're at the lower end of the salary scale as you leave the game?
Well, none of it involved money, I tell you that. I think that's one thing y'all can say about me. I mean, I've pushed and I've did certain things, but that's never always, to me, it's never been the main reason. And people, will say at certain times, this is why he went to Chicago. This is why. No, it's other reasons that, you make decisions. And to me, money has never been that main reason. And it's not that I don't like money. It's not that I don't love money, right? It's other things that's important or more important when you're making decisions about your career, about yourself, about your family. To me, would I have loved to go out like Kobe did, making 25 to 30s last year? Hell yeah. Would I like to, would I like to score 60 in my last game? Hell yeah. None of that probably ain't gonna happen. My journey and my way is mine, and my story will be mine, and I have to own that. And I can't worry about. I've made a lot of money from this game, and I make a lot of money away from this game. So, that couldn't be a part of my decision. And even though it's in there, and you talk to your agents and you this and that, I didn't push for the possibly most I can get. My whole thing was, getting back into the season, enjoying this last year. Everything else will take care of itself. I'm sitting up here as a person who never, expected to be sitting up here. I hoped and I dreamed and I visioned, but I didn't expect it. So, everything is a bonus in my life.
Dwyane, was there ever any talk with your son Zaire about maybe that Ken Griffey Jr. kind of moment?
Yeah, my son talked to me about it. But I told him, I said, listen, I don't want to put that pressure on you because you had to get here real fast. And right now, you're a junior in high school, bro. It ain't fast enough, So, if the rules is different, if everything was different, we can have a different conversation. But you can go 4 years of school. That's 6 years, bro. I ain't got that. So I'm going to focus on finishing mine, and we're going to focus on yours, And our family has already shifted and put our focus on my oldest son from the standpoint of, of basketball and him being the next one, in this Wade bloodline to play this game and hopefully do some great things, in this game. So, but he had the conversation with me, but we're not going to make that. Sorry, son.
Spo said he doesn't think a lot of you guys will rest easy tonight, knowing what's coming tomorrow. What do you think your mindset will be tonight and tomorrow morning, knowing what day one of a Miami Heat training camp typically looks like?
You know what? I'm cool. Like, me and Spo had a conversation about the conditioning test, and he was like, I know you're thinking about it. I was like, not really. It is what it is at this point. I'm gonna give you what I got. That's all I got. Like I'm not worried. I'm just gonna enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. When I get a little tired, I got some young guys to push in front of me and say, y'all go ahead. I'm gonna get a little rest. I'm cool. So, but I look forward to getting in there. This is the first day where it's like you've been working all summer to this and that, but this is when it gets real. And definitely that first day is one of those. But I'm like I said, I'm trying to enjoy this last of the first of the last is whatever it is. The last is of the first. I don't know the last of the last is. I'm just trying to enjoy it. So I'm not really. It's nothing that they can do to me this year that I haven't seen and been a part of and done. So I'm not the one to concern myself with it.
Dwyane, how do you want to be remembered as not just an athlete in Miami, but as a community figure down here?
Well, hopefully that continues, right? I'm going to continue to be a figure in this community. So that even though I retired from basketball, I will continue to do those things that I've done in the community. And how you want to be remembered, you just want to be remembered as somebody who wasn't that was a part of the community. Look themselves as a part of this community and try to do their best, your best, to push the community forward and make the community better. And that's all I've tried to do. And whether it's been big or whether it's been small, I've always tried to make the community that I'm a part of and the community that has meant a lot to me and supported me, and other communities that I have no association with. I've tried to be a part of helping those communities become better. My college coach always told me, too much is given, much is required. And I've been given a lot. It's required of me to continue to make the world the way that I would like to see it and how I can control it. Right? I'm only one individual. I can't change everything, but I can do a lot. And I've been able to do that over the course of my NBA career. And I look to continue that, even more and when my NBA career is over.
Dwyane, with this being your final season, how much will it mean to you to be able to catch Zaire's senior year of high school following that?
Bro, a lot. I hate missing games. I missed a game the other day because I had to go to my restaurant opening. I was in between. But I went to the one before that, so he was okay. But I don't like missing these moments. These moments for me, it might be more important for me than it is for him. Just me being a 16-year-old kid, and my dad was different than I am, and he didn't come around to a lot of my games. He was, he was a little tougher than me. But I don't know how long my son's going to play basketball. I don't know if it's going to end after this year or it's going to end after 16-year NBA career. I have no idea. But I love watching him do something that he loves to do, and I love watching him compete. I love watching the journey that he's going through. A lot of it remind me of myself, but also it's different because, he's Z-Wade and I was D-Wade. So it's a different journey. But I definitely can't wait to get to that point where he's like, Dad, you ain't got nothing else to do, So we'll get there soon enough.
Dwyane, within the really select group of guys in this league who've reached the heights that you have, it feels like there's two kinds of players. Guys who age and decline gracefully like you have, and guys who seem to have a harder time letting go of the player that they once were. And my question is, how has that process been harder for you than you've made it look?
Well, it is a hard process. It's a tough process. Because when you got it, it seems like you can do it forever. At some point, you ain't going to be able to take off the same. Your body ain't going to get as loose. Your vision going to go a little bit. There's a lot of things that go in this game. And, you just got to look in the mirror, man. I think my whole career I've tried to look in the mirror. And I tried to say, okay, Dwyane, who are you this year? What can you give this year? And like I said, each year has been different. It's been some years where I've looked like I ain't got nothing left to give, and then the next year I come back and I got even more to give. So, as an athlete, you have to look in the mirror. You have to know, who you are. Be real with yourself. Don't hide from yourself. Don't lie to yourself. And I've never done that. I've never lied to myself. I know my game. I know what I'm capable of. And, and that's the way that I approached it. So you hope, you're going to get older one day. You don't know when it's, you really don't know when it's coming. But as it comes, you hope that you can still, be a part of a team. And you can still help a team win in whatever capacity that you put in or that you can. And that's all I've tried to do. So everyone has their own ways and their own, their way of doing things. And whatever makes them happy is what they should do. This is the way that I've done in my career is what made me happy. And not saying it hasn't been hard along the way. But, I've tried to understand the reason I started playing this game in the first place. And I started playing this game because I love it. So, I'm sitting up here in 16 year with a very accomplished, and I am making less money than I made my rookie year when I came in. But at the time when I was playing this game, it wasn't ever about that. It was about the love. It was about the excitement, the way I felt playing this game. Like I wasn't one of those guys that raised my hand in class because I was always shy and I didn't want to get the answer wrong. But I was on the court, I was a different person, and I liked that person that I was when I played basketball, and I wanted that for my life. And I've been able to accomplish that. I've been able to become that person. I've done everything the way that I feel like is right for me, and it doesn't mean it's right for anyone else.
Dwyane, was there anybody in the organization that you turned to help with your decision, or did the team kind of give you your space? What was that dynamic like, I guess, during the process?
Well, the team gave me my space. Obviously, when the season ended, I talked to, the powers that be. But, when it came down to it, it was Spo. You know, that was the last conversation I had before I made my decision about it. I met with Spo on Friday, and I made my decision Sunday after golf. After I realized I wasn't as good as golf as I thought, I was like, well, let me go play basketball one more year. But it was Coach. You know, it's crazy, man. I go back to Spo when I came in. You know, Coach Spo being a video coordinator, and then being a guy that come up after practice to give me some extra shots, and then being a guy that really worked with me throughout my game, and then being my head coach and everything we've been through. And for me, if I was going to play this year, you know, it had to be. We had to sit down and we had to connect, and we both had to talk about everything, you know, from beginning to the end, and it had to feel right. So, you know, ultimately, you know, I give Coach about 5% of why I'm sitting up here today. He really made me feel comfortable with, you know, how this last year can go. Thank you, guys.